The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter was made possible by a contribution from Portal Games.
Hello and welcome to a solo version of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad, and Megan is not behind the camera today. This is one of those rare occasions where Dad has the house to himself. So I thought I would show you how to play Legacy, the Testament of Duke de Crecy, in the solo Testament play. Now this game is about trying to figure out your family tree, and in a multiplayer you start with the head of the family and you kind of build your family tree that way. The solo play is almost the opposite. You start with yourself and your parents and you try to figure out who your ancestors were. And the backstory is that basically the last surviving member of the family has died and you're trying to prove that you belong so that you can get your inheritance. So let me show you the game. The game is played over 3 generations, and that basically represents the different phases that you take your turns in. You'll have Generation 1, which you only have 2 rounds of play. Generation 2, you have 3 rounds, and Generation 3, you have 4 rounds. So that's the amount of time that you have in order to prove that you belong to the family. Now, the way you prove that is by solving hint cards. Now, each generation, you're going to draw 3 hint cards from a total of 5 for each generation. So you have to solve 9 hint cards by the end of the game to prove that you belong to the family. Now, hint cards are like this. And you'll notice this has one for the first generation. We flip it over, and it says, one of your grandmothers was a scientist. So as you're building your family tree or discovering your ancestors, you want to make sure that one of your grandmothers has the scientific symbol next to it. And I'll show you what that looks like. That basically is from a friend card. Friend cards look like this. Now the way the friend card reads is, this is the person's name, that is their nationality. In this case, Ariane is French. She's going to give you a special ability when you play this, or you play her on the table. So in this case it says arrange marriages with her without using an action. So that's kind of a nice ability. These are the things you also get. You're going to get a face-up friend card from the main board, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And you will lose a prestige point from your player board, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The number of gold up here represents either the cost that you have to pay for the wedding or a dowry that she brings. In this case, since it is a positive number, that's a dowry, so we will get 3 money whenever we discover that she's part of our family. Here's a look at the single player board. Now, these boards are double-sided, so when you play multiplayer, you use this side, but single player, you'll see up here it says a 1. So you use this side. This area here tracks your income. So that's how you're going to get money after each round. We'll start over here that says, how wealthy were they? So you're trying to figure out, who your people were. This is a way to get money. So if you don't pay anything, you're going to gain 2 money. You lose an honor point, which honor points are basically the score that you're going to accumulate in the game. This is tracked on the main board. So if you lose an honor point, you're going to get 3 money. And if you lose an honor point and a friend card, you're going to get 4 money. The next section is, whom did they know? This is a way to acquire friend cards, because the friend cards are going to be what you're going to play in order to identify your ancestors. So if you want to get 1 friend card, it doesn't cost you anything. If you want to get 2, it's going to cost you 1 coin. And if you want 3, it's going to cost you 2. The who were they? This is kind of the main part of this game. That's when you're going to be placing friend cards on the board. And so that's how you're going to identify your ancestors. You have the how big was my family? So this is when you need to have your ancestors have other children, you can pay nothing and you can take a card off the top of the deck. Or if there is a case where you need to have either a male or female in that position, you can lose one honor point and you can go through the deck and find which of the sexes that you need. This area here tracks your prestige points. So as you do certain things or acquire or you discover people in your family, they'll give you prestige points, and then these are going to score up to honor points at the end of each of the generations. We start off with 2 action tokens that we will place on our board, or we can also use these to place on the main board as well. Here we have the main board. We have our honor track up here, and you can see we'll start at 0. You can actually have negative honor points, as I showed you on the friend card. Sometimes you lose honor. You have your generation tracks here. So this is the first generation. It will always start with the card symbol, and that means that you draw 3 of the hint cards. Then you move on. This is basically your action phase. And then finally, at the end, that's your income phase, where you accumulate more of your gold. Starting in the second and the third generation, you'll see that there's a disc. Now, this is where you acquire special action discs, and those are represented by these different color discs here. We have 1 of each, and you'll see that they correspond to these colors down here. So what that means is at the beginning of generation 2 and 3, we're going to acquire 1 of these. We don't know which one. We'll draw those blindly out of a bag, and then we can place that on the corresponding colors. So for instance, yellow is what title did they have? The blue is how fertile were they? The green is where did they live? The orange is were they business minded? The red is what connections did they make? And then finally another yellow over here is what have they left behind? So if you have the yellow token, you can use it on either one. You can also use your normal action tokens, but you also want to be able to have these available to use on your board, because those colored ones you cannot use on the board. The colored only work on the matching color on the main board. So you'll see what titles did they have. Each generation we are going to have 3 new titles out here, and the title card I'll show you here real quick. It shows you the generation that it belongs to. It shows the cost in order to get this title. So in this case, it would cost 2 gold. We also have to lose a friend card from our hand. The title is Banneret, which some hint cards will require you to have specific titles. And it also grants 2 prestige points on your main board. So when you buy a title, you can place that onto one of your ancestors. This is the children's deck, and I'll just kind of show you that there's either boys or girls. You don't know which. You flip it over, and you have a male member of your family. And it looks like I need to shuffle these. There's what the female family looks like, or female member looks like. The green are the mansion cards. They provide 2 prestige points. The orange are venture cards. They provide 1 income, or increase your income track. And then the red are kind of adventure cards. Now these can give you special things whenever you are able to complete these. We have basically these are called contribution cards. Now they're very similar to the title cards. It shows which generation this belongs to, how much money it costs in order to basically do this contribution. Church donation. We have the what this card grants us, which is 4 friend cards, and you'll see this is the back side of the friend card. You can see those match. That means that we draw those directly off the deck. If we ever see ones that have the front side, such as on this, then we pull we are able to get a friend card from the friend display here. So the way the friend display works is, there are actions that we can take that are going to grant us the ability to take some of the friends. So let's just say that, on our player board, we did who did they know. We took these 3 friends, okay? Those go into our hand, and there's no hand limit, so we're good with that. Now, if anyone were to come up here and take another friend card, the way the rules state is there can't be one left. So if I took this friend card, for instance, then I also get this one for free. And that is the only time that you refill the friend display here, is when they are all gone. I will say this game takes up an enormous amount of table space. So it's going to be very difficult for me to show you the entire table as I am playing through. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try my best in order to show you the areas where the action is going on. So please bear with me on that. So you're going to see some camera movement and so forth. Now we start off with, we know who we are, and we either choose either one of the male or female friend cards, and the rules tell you which ones to use. So I have Patrick here, and in the single player game you do not care about his wedding cost or dowry. You don't pay any attention to his special abilities down here or that of your parents. So it also tells you that you use Lawrence as your father and Angelique as your mother, and you don't worry about their text on their cards either. So Patrick provides us with some starting resources here. He provides 1 income, so we put our marker on the 1, and we start with 0 prestige here. He also starts us off with 9 money, so we will take 9 money 9 times. Little Ferris Bueller reference there. Now, another thing we need to do when we have known ancestors, we have to put placeholders for their parents. So in this case, we put a placeholder to represent basically our grandparents here. And we'll spread that out a little bit because we're going to be taking up a lot of table space when we move forward. And over here we will put the placeholders for those grandparents. And I've just taken a number of the children cards to just go ahead and have those available so that I can put those placeholders down. So move these down a little bit. So we will move our generation marker to the first icon there, which means that we take the top 3 from the hint deck, and the other 2 we don't care about, so we're just going to put those aside. So the hint cards we got are, one of your grandfathers had a venture, so we're going to want to be able to get one of these and put it on one of our grandfather placeholders. The male ancestor of your father had a title, so we're going to be wanting to get one of these titles. And lastly, one of your grandmothers was a scientist. Okay, so I'm going to just place these right there so I have those readily available. Oh, one of the other things I forgot to do is Patrick allows us to have 5 friends to start with. So we will draw 5 cards off the top of the friend deck. And since there's no hand limit, we tend to get a lot of the friend cards. So I'm just going to keep those in my hand. I'll just kind of show you quickly the ones that I started off with here. And move things around a little bit. Maybe this will be a little bit easier to see here. Put those hint cards right there. Okay, so I'm looking through my hand and I don't see any friends currently that have the females that have the scientific symbol. And looking at the friend display, there are none there as well. So I'm eventually going to need to get around to clearing that out so I can draw more friends. So let's concentrate on these other hint cards over here. So the male ancestor of my father had a title. So it can be my grandfather there. Let me look and see if there is anything there that I want. So I'll place my marker here where it says what title did they have, and I think I'll take this banneret because it's the cheapest. So that's going to cost me 2, so I'll take 2 of my money and pay it back to the bank. I also have to get rid of one of my friend cards from my hand. So let's just go ahead and let's get rid of Olga. And I will get 2 prestige points. So I will mark 2 prestige points on my track. And I'm just going to put that right next to my grandfather's placeholder. We don't know who he is yet, but we know he had the title of Banneret. So now for my second action, it says one of my grandfathers had a venture. So I think what I'll do is I'll place my token right here where it says, were they business minded? And I will take this. Now I have to pay the cost, which in this case I have to discard 2 friend cards and I lose an honor point. So I'm already in the negative on the honor points. But friend cards, let's just go ahead and let's get rid of Patricia, and let's get rid of Carlos. So I only have 2 friend cards left in my hand. And we're going to assign this venture card over here to my other grandfather. So I'm just going to place that underneath him. And that's going to give me 1 income. So if I go back to my player board here, I can move my income marker up 1 more. Now, I don't have any more action tokens, so I will pull these back from the main board. So now I move the generation marker to the last spot of turn 1, which is get income. And we're at 2 income on our board, so I get 2 money. We'll move on to the second turn here. Now, because we completed this hint card, we're going to get 1 prestige point, so we'll move our track up to 3. And we also completed this one. The male ancestor had a title, and that was the venture. So we're just going to put these aside. These are done. Okay, so our prestige points are at 4 since we did both of those hint cards. So those are done. I'll just place those out of the way. Now we're back to we have 2 actions. And we only have 1 hint card left to solve. So now is probably a good time to try to start getting some new friends. Like I said, we only have 2 friend cards in our hand right now. So let's go to who did they know? And we're going to pay 2 money in order to get 3 of the friend cards. So just pay that back to the bank. And it doesn't really matter. Because all we really want to do is get new friend cards out here. So let's go ahead and we'll just take these 3 friend cards here. Put those in our hand. Now, you can also place your action tokens on your player board where you've already been. So we're going to go back to the who did they know. We're not going to pay anything this time to get 1 friend because there's only 2 cards left in the display. Since we can get 1 by paying nothing, and that leaves us with 1 in the display, we get that for free. We put those 2 in our hand, and we draw up 5 more into the display. And we are wanting to see a female with that scientist symbol. And no bueno. So that currently ends our turn. We didn't do much other than try to get some friends. So we will go ahead and we will move the generation marker to the income phase of the board there. So our income track is at 2. We will get 2 money. And now we also have basically the transfer of the prestige to honor points. And on our board we are at 4. So we will get 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, because we were at -1. So we're only at 3. So now we move on to the second generation. And the first thing that we have to do is get one of the special tokens. So need to take 1 of each. And we'll shake these up really good. And we will get this one. We got yellow. So that's going to help us get a title or a contribution. Now we have to, since we started the new generation, we get rid of the generation 1 titles and contributions. So we'll just set those aside. and we put 3 more out. So we have the city mayor, we have the patron of Paris, and we have the marquis. Now over here for contributions, we have the court ballet, we have noble portraits, and we have, we have the banquet. Now we move our marker up to the getting the hint cards. So we'll take the top 3 off of the deck. We'll put these other 2 aside. And we will see what we got. We have, there was a craftsman in the family who had a title. So we already know that our grandfather on our father's side had a title. So if we can get that craftsman ability there, then that will take care of that hint card. We have the parents of your grandfathers, parents of one of your grandfathers was a scientist and a writer couple. And then finally, the sister of one of your grandfathers was an artist. So we have these down here now. I'll move these around a little bit so you can see them. Okay, so we know we still need to get that female with a scientist symbol, but looking at our hand here, do we have any craftsmen? We do. We have Armand. So let's see where we can put him. So we know we want to have him in the family. Let's go ahead and let's take our action token here and let's go the who were they action. We have to pay the cost of 3, and we're going to make him our grandfather. So pay the 3 money. So now we have, there was a craftsman in the family who had a title. So that's complete. We move our prestige track 1 and we will discard that hint. So we're back down to having 3. What else do we need? We need the sister of one of your grandfathers was an artist. So now that we know who Granddad is, we will put placeholders for his parents, for our great-grandparents. And I think we need to look maybe and see if we can solve this. Now, it says one of your grandmothers was a scientist. We know that we need a scientist and a writer, so we want to make sure that we kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because you want to try to be as efficient as possible, because you're going to run out of turns if you don't. So I guess we're back to needing more friends. So let's go ahead and let's use our action token and go to who were they. We're going to pay, or who did they know? Sorry. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pay 2 in order to get 3 friends. So pay 2 to the bank. And the 3 friends, again, it really doesn't matter. Although we do need a male writer. There is no male writer that is in the display. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to take 3 here. We're going to just take these 3 and put those in our hand. And we don't have to use this until the end of the generation. And it's a one-off, so whenever we use it, then it's gone until we draw up new. So let's just kind of hold on to that for now. Let's reset. Let's go ahead and we will move on to the income phase. Our income is still at 2, so we're going to get 2 more money. And now we are on to turn 4. We still need new friends, so let's go back and go to the who did they know. There are only 2 friends left in the display, so we're not going to pay anything. We'll take the 1. The rules say we get that guy for free. So those will go into our hand, and we'll flip over 5 new ones, and we are wanting a male writer and a female scientist. There's the male writer. And there is the female scientist. So we know we're going to be wanting to go after them. So let's just go ahead and let's do that action again. And we'll just pay 2 as well. And we're going to get 3 friends. So we want that male writer. So we want Pierre. and he is going to give us an increase in income, and we also gain the red special token, so that's going to be nice. So we'll put him in our hand, and we will also take Sarah, because Sarah is a scientist, so we definitely want her. And what else do we want? The sister of one of your grandfathers was an artist, so there is actually a female artist there, so we'll take her as our third friend. So that's good. So again, that's all we did on our turn. We don't need to do any titles or anything yet, so we will collect our tokens back. We will move on to the income phase on the board, and our income is still at 2, so we will get 2 more money. So now that we have the friends that we need to start placing those on our board to represent our known ancestors. So let's go ahead and let's focus on this one. So we want Sarah. Sarah will actually give us a coin when we place her on there. So she's going to be our grandmother right there. So we will take the coin that she gives us for her dowry. She's also going to give us 3 face-up friend cards. So we get the last 2 here, and those will go under our hand, and we'll flip over 5 new ones. So we'll take those 2 friends and see what we get. A couple of artists, a scientist, a craftsman, and another artist. Wow, a lot of artists. Okay, the other ability that Sarah gives us, it says +1 honor point if you have any British members in your family. We don't have any British, so we don't get that. But since we do know who she is, we need to place our placeholders to represent her parents, and we'll just, I know those out of frame, but those are right above her. So that was, I didn't mark this on my board, that was the who were they. And now that satisfies this condition. One of my grandmothers was a scientist. So because we completed that, we move 1 on our prestige track. And we'll set that hint aside. Oh, I should have gotten 1 more friend because I was allowed to get 3 from Sarah. And let's go ahead and we're going to take Elena, because she is an artist, and we know we're going to need an artist card. Although I think I already have an artist. Yeah, I already had one, but that's okay. It gives us options. Oh, we have Pierre. Where's Pierre at? There's Pierre. So we want to have Pierre be our grandfather over here. So he's going to cost us 2 coins to place him. So we'll pay the 2 to the bank. And he's going to increase our income, and we gain the red token. So we will be able to use this on a future turn, or even this turn, in order to go on an adventure. Now that we know who our great-grandparents are, then they are actually going to have another child. So what we do is we draw the top card off of the child deck here and flip it over, and they had a boy. So our grandfather here, I'm going to slide his title underneath him. Actually, I'll just go ahead and yeah, just put that there. So he had a brother. And I think I forgot when I put him down to do his special ability for Armand, which would have given me an extra income and a prestige point. I don't think I did that, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And add 1 to my prestige. And it says, his ability here says you may decrease your income by 1 to gain that. So I wouldn't have done that anyway. So I think I forgot to do that. So if I'm wrong, I'll make a note of it. So now looking at the hint cards, the parents of one of your grandfathers was a scientist and a writer couple. So I have completed that hint. So I will move 1 more on the prestige track. That puts me to 8. I'll discard this. And now I want to focus on this hint card that says the sister of one of your grandfathers was an artist. So unfortunately, they had a boy there. So what I can do is I can choose this action here, the how big was my family, and get a sister card. Now that will cost me an honor point in doing that. So I will go ahead and lose my honor point. So that puts me back down to 2, and I get to go through this deck until I find a female. So there is the female card, and I'll give these a good shuffle. And I will place the sister right there. So now I'll be able to, on another turn, actually place one of the artists from my hand. Do I want to go on an adventure or get a title? I don't think I need a title right now, but I might as well go on an adventure and just to see what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use that red token. So I'll place that here. And what connections did they make? I have to lose a friend card for that. So let's just look through here, and let's get rid of Maxim. Okay, got rid of him. Okay, so we'll see what we got. It says reestablish the mission in Siam after the Burmese invasions. So the requirement is have at least 2 writers in my family, and I'm going to get 4 prestige or 4 honor points if I complete that. So that could actually be pretty good. Looking at the board, I only have the 1 writer, so I'm going to try to get another writer in the family. So I'm still not going to use that special token yet. So I will recall my action tokens, and we will move on to the income phase of turn 5. So I'm up to 4 income, and now since that is the last of the generation, we transfer our prestige points to honor points. So that's going to be 8. So I was at 2. That puts me at 10. So we're getting ready to start the 3rd generation. We'll get rid of these titles from the 2nd generation, and we'll put our 3rd titles out. We have the King's Advisor, we have the Duke, and we have the Pair de France. We'll get rid of these contribution cards, and we'll put 3 new ones out. We have Park of Leisure, we have Grand Ball, and we have Arch of Love. Get rid of that token. So now, since we're starting the 3rd, we will take 1 of each of the colored tokens, give them a good shake, and drop 1. We got another yellow. That was not what we wanted. We did not need another yellow. Now we will get our 3 cards off the top for the hint deck. Put those other 2 aside. And let's see what we got. There was at least 1 Russian and 1 aristocrat on your father's side of the family. Well, fortunately, we're staying with the father's side. We have one of your grandmothers was the daughter of an aristocrat who had a title. And one of your great-grandfathers had 3 children, one of which was a writer, and another one married to a Prussian. So we'll try to get these hint cards done. So what we want to do is I think we're going to go after this hint card here that says the sister of one of your grandfathers was an artist. So let's take the who were they action. In our hand we have Elena here. She's the art collector. She is an artist and she's Russian. So I think she will become the sister here. So we will replace that placeholder there. We pay 2 to the bank for the wedding, since she did not bring a dowry. We do get 3 face-up friend cards, and I'll take care of that in a minute, but we also get 1 honor point for every other artist in the family. Unfortunately, we don't have any other artists, so we're not going to get any of that bonus. So let's take our 3 friend cards. So as you can see, there's only 4 left, so what we're going to do is we'll just take these 3, and you can't have 1 left, so we get that one for free, so that's kind of good. So that gives us 5 new cards to flip over here. We have Eliza, she's British. We have Charles, he's British. We have Chantel, who is scary. We have Daniel, the artisan, or the craftsman, and we have Johan, who is also an artist. So that satisfies this hint card. We will get 1 prestige point, and we will put that one aside. So we're not doing too bad here. We still just have these last 3 hint cards to get. So let's see. One of your grandmothers was the daughter of an aristocrat who had a title. Okay. So I guess we're just going to stay over here on the on grandfather's or granddad's side here, because we have Sarah, who is our grandmother. She is the revolutionary, and she's a redhead, so Megan would identify with her there. So let's go ahead and let's choose the well, let's look at our hand first. This says one of your grandmothers was a daughter of an aristocrat who had a title. It can be a male or a female. Doesn't really matter. Looking through here, I'm trying to find the best possible person that is an aristocrat. This guy, Martin here, he's not too bad. He's going to give us income and a prestige. Roger, the ship owner, is going to give us 2 income and 2 prestige. Isabella is gonna give us 2 friend cards and a prestige. And let's see. So one of your grandmothers. So actually I want a female, so I only want her. I only really want Isabella, because she will be able to replace my grandmother there. So let's go ahead and let's choose that action. Okay, so she's going to go there. And that's going to cost us 3 money. Pay that to the bank. And discard any number of friend cards from your hand and draw the same number of friend cards from the deck. So let's do that in a minute. Let's go ahead and let's get our prestige point. So that takes us up to 10. And we get 2 friend cards. So we know we need a Prussian, so we're going to go ahead and take Johann here. And who else do we want? Let's go ahead and we'll take David as well. So put those guys in our hand. So now Isabella also says discard any number of friends from your hand and draw that many face-ups. So we know we need writers, we need Russians, we need I guess we need, well, the aristocrat we're taken care of with Isabella there. Let me look through my hand real quick and see if we have any Russians. So we will use Isabella's ability, and we're going to discard these 4 friends, and we will draw 4 off the top. So we get whoops, there we go. We got quite a few options there, a lot of scientists. Okay, now to complete this hint card, we need one of your grandmothers was the daughter of an aristocrat who had a title. So Sarah's mother, move that up there. Sarah's mother is an aristocrat, and so we need to give her a title. So we use one of these to go to the what title did they have. And I think what we're going to do, we're going to, based on our money, we only have 4 money left. It's going to cost us all of our money. So let's just go ahead and let's take the Pair de France. So we will pay all of our money to the bank. We will give her that title. And we get to draw 2 friend cards off the top of the deck. So we get these 2 that we'll put in our hand. We also get 3 prestige points. So we'll move our prestige track up to 13. Here we go. What else? So we'll put that title under her. So that takes care of this hint card. So one of your grandmothers was the daughter of an aristocrat who had a title. So that will give us 1 more prestige point, and we'll put that one aside. So now we're down to 2 more, so we're doing pretty good. We've got 3 turns left. So I think we're going to go ahead and end our turn there. So we'll take these action tokens back. We'll move on to the income phase, and we're at 4, so we're going to get 4 money. There we go. We'll get rid of that, and we will move on to turn number 7. So now I think I really want to focus on getting a rider in my family, because that will take care of that adventure card, the reestablishing the mission in Thailand. I also, let's see, have I completed this one? There's at least 1 Russian and 1 aristocrat on your father's side of the family. I've actually completed that one because Elena is Russian and Isabella, that we just put down, is an aristocrat. So we will get 1 prestige point for that, which takes us up to 15, and we will discard that. So really, we're only down to 1. So really in pretty good shape here. So one of your great-grandfathers had 3 children, one of which was a writer and another was married to a Prussian. So here's grandfather, here's great-grandfather. So great-grandfather there needs to have 3 children, which he does, one of which was a writer and another was married to a Prussian. Actually, I think we're going to complete here. So let's go ahead and looking through my deck of cards, I'm looking for a writer. So I need a boy writer. So I do have Thomas there, the promising cadet. Do I have any other writers that are male? No, I do not. So looks like Tommy Boy is going to be our new, he'd be our great uncle. So let's go ahead and let's choose that action to who were they. We will pay the 4, which is all the money we have. Pay that to the bank. He will go there. And he says, gain the red special token and 1 honor if you have another writer in the family. Well, his father, Pierre, was a writer, so we will get the red special token. And we will get 1 honor point, so that puts us up to 11. We also get 2 prestige points, so that will take us to 17. And that is it. So we've got that part. So we want to basically marry off either Armand, who would marry a Prussian, or Elena could marry a Prussian. Looking through my hand, I know that I've got a male Prussian. Oop, there we go. Johann, got him a while ago. Okay, so I don't have any money though. So what I'm going to have to do is I can either choose and go ahead and get money, which I'm going to do that. I'm going to choose how wealthy were they. I'm not going to lose any honor points, and I'm just going to get 2 money there. And as I'm looking at this adventure card. This says the requirements for it were have at least 2 writers in your family, and the reward is 4 honor points. So I've completed that because both Thomas and Pierre are writers. So that one is done. I'm just going to slide that under Patrick there, and I will move up 4 on the honor track. That puts me at 15. So that's actually pretty good. And I think because I have the action, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go on another adventure. So let's choose that. I've got to lose a friend card. So, I'm just going to go ahead and let's get rid of Robert. He's the explorer. He died on this expedition that we're going to go on here. So what do we get? We have French culture. So let's see what that says. Get my handy dandy magnifier out because that's so small print. It says French culture reigns, Europe gather French. French culture reigns, Europe gather French to increase your culture. Have at least 5 French in your family. Pay 4 money to the bank and get 5 honor points. So that's not too bad. Looking at my family here, though, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, actually, I do have 5 because I have Pierre, Armand, Thomas. That's 3, and my parents and myself are French. So, however, I don't think I count those, and I'm going to go on the assumption that I don't count those since they were already there. Since we're ignoring all the rest of their text. Let me double check that though. Okay, the rules just state during the setup that you ignore their dowry and their special abilities and anything that they provide. They don't say anything specifically about their nationality or their occupation. But I think in the spirit of the game, we want to be able to try to have those members in our family tree that are the unknowns that we're discovering. So I'm going to go with that and say that I still need to have 2 more French people in order to complete this adventure. So let's move on here. We're going back and looking at one of my great-grandfathers had 3 children, one of which was a writer, and another that was married to a Prussian. So really, we need to get Elena married to Johann. So let's go ahead and take our tokens back and end our turn there. We'll go ahead and we'll move the track up to do our income phase. I get 4 money, which is good because I needed the money. I need to count the money. Count de monnaie. There's a Mel Brooks movie reference for you guys. We will move the marker on our board up to 8. We'll get rid of the other marker that we had, the special marker for the adventure. I know you can't see that it's off camera, but that's okay. So now we are ready to go. Let's go ahead and do the who were they action here so that I can play Johann, the composer. Wonder if that's Johann Sebastian Bach. Ah, Bach. There's a MASH reference for you guys. Okay, so he's going to be married to Elena here. Okay, and that's going to cost me 4, which was a good thing that I got 4 money that turn, so pay that to the bank. And it says, take 1 friend for each other Prussian in your family. I don't have any other Prussians, so I'm not going to be able to take any friend cards from that. He is going to up my income to 5, and will give me another prestige point. Puts me at 18. So now we look at this. It says, one of your great-grandfathers had 3 children. Here's my great-grandfather, Pierre. He had 3 children, Armand, Thomas, and Elena, one of which was a writer. That was Thomas. And another who was married to a Prussian. Elena married Johann the Prussian. So this is complete. So we will get a prestige point. And at that point, we have the win condition. So now it's a matter of getting the most points. So let's see what else we need. We want to be able to get that. So we want to get some French folks in our family here. One of the things I forgot to do when I put Pierre down was to put his parent placeholder out there. I did Sarah's, but I didn't do Pierre's. So I'll place those up there. So now I want to concentrate on getting some French people added. So I'm looking through my hand here. Trust the French. Okay, a lot of French friends in my hand. So let's go ahead and let's see about getting Pierre. Let's see, do I have any? Actually, Martha would get me some money. Cindy gets me more money. Let's see. Yeah, Cindy would get me 3 money. And I do have a contribution, so I would get some more points. I like that. That looks like my best option there. Okay. So let's concentrate on Cindy. So let's take the who were they action. Let's make Cindy Pierre's mother. Let me move the camera. So we will place Cindy there. She's going to get 3 money for us for her dowry. And she's going to give us 2 honor points if you have any contribution cards in my family. Well, I thought I did. I thought I had a contribution. I guess I just had a title. Wait a minute. Is Isabella? No, that was a title. So now I'm back to looking at my adventure card here, and I need at least 5 French in my family. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I still need to get one more. So let's go ahead and let's end our turn by pulling those back. We will move the generation marker to the income phase. I'm going to get 5 income. So that's good. I might need that money. And that is it. We move on to the last turn here. So really, I'm just going to try to get another French person in my family to get more honor points. So looking at the French cards here, need to put placeholders for Cindy's parents and for Isabella's. I forgot. But it really doesn't matter because I don't think I'm going to be filling them in. And poor grandmother's side of the family over here, she kind of got shafted. And we know somebody did a venture, but they didn't really do much. It was, Dad's side of the family, they were the ones who, were really, they made a name for themselves. Let's put it that way, because we found out who they were. They were more exciting people. And I'm going to talk about that in my review, because a lot of the games I've played, this happens a lot, where you have one side over the other. So let's see, have at least 5 French in my family. So let's go ahead and, do I have a French man? That's what I need. I need a French man. I do. I have David. So I will go ahead and choose the who were they. David will be Pierre's father. Put that placeholder back. He's only going to cost me 1 for the wedding. They will have a child, and their child is a boy. Okay. I get +2 honor if I have any ventures in my family, which I do. My grandmother's father did a venture, so I will get +2, so that will move me up to 19 on the honor track. I will get an income, so that puts my income at 6, which doesn't really matter because we won't be getting any more income this game. But I do lose a prestige point, so that takes me back down to 18. So now I look at this card here, and it says, have at least 3 French in my family, or excuse me, 5. I don't know why I keep saying 3. 5. So let's go up here. Whoa. Okay, we have David 1, Cindy 2, Pierre 3, Armand 4, Thomas 5. So we have completed this adventure. We will pay 4 to the bank. So I'll pay 4 money to the bank. And we will get 5 honor points. So that takes us up to 24. And I will just slide that adventure under Patrick's card there. So realistically, we have 1 action left. So I think the best course of action to get more points is to go back and try to do another adventure and see if we just happen to luck out and hit something we already have solved. So I'm going to place my last action token there, and I have to get rid of a friend card. So let's just get rid of Eugenia here and see what we have. Whoa. All right. We have a scientific congress. Organize a scientific congress of the French Academy of Sciences. So the requirements is have at least 2 scientists in your family, pay 1 money to the bank, and the reward is 3 honor points, draw 10 friend cards, keep all scientists, and discard the others. So let's look at our family and see if we have 2 scientists. And unfortunately, the only scientist we had in our family was Sarah. We had some writers and artists and some craftsmen, but no other scientists. So that kind of stinks. I was really hoping we would get something there. So now let's move on to the scoring. So now we basically score our prestige points. We're at 18, so we will score 18 points. So that'll put us to 42. And now we do end of game scoring. So the end of game scoring is a little complex, so let me walk you through that. Okay, so we're going to gain 1 honor point for each non-French descendant whose nationality matches either of its parents' nationality. So we look for non-French. So non-French that we have Isabella, which we don't know who her parents are, so we don't get anything for that. Sarah, we don't know if her father was American or not, so we don't get any points there. Everybody else here was French. Pierre and all them are French. So that looks like that. So no extra points for that. Now we lose an honor point for each non-French whose nationality members of none of its parents match. So again, we're in the same situation because we don't know if Sarah's father was American or not. We don't know if Isabella's parents were Spanish, so no points lost there. We gain 1 honor point for each aristocrat descendant that has a parent with a craftsman occupation. So the only aristocrat we had in our family was Isabella, and we don't know who her parents were, so she's not going to gain us anything there. We lose an honor point for each craftsman descendant that has a parent with an aristocrat occupation. So Isabella's child, her only child, was Sarah. Sarah was a scientist, not a craftsman, so we don't lose any points there. And then we lose 1 honor point for each unfulfilled hint card, which we completed all of our hint cards, so we don't lose any points there. So let's take a look at the board. So as you can see, our final total was 42 points. We didn't get any of basically the bonus scoring at the end. And I will say that is about average for my solo games that I actually have won. I'm about probably 60-40 in my win percentage over my loss percentage. Obviously, when I lose, my score is a lot less, but that is about average for what I do. So let's move on to the trophy phase, because my trophy shelf could always use another trophy. And then we will get to what I think. Now, I don't want to get into the multiplayer aspect too much. I do like the multiplayer. I've played it a few times with 4 players, and when I was talking earlier about the table space, taking up a lot of space, 4-player game, just imagine that. It's a lot crazier. But the solo play, I really enjoy. This is a very good solo experience. Those of you who just like to play solitaire games, I think you're really going to enjoy this, because there's something that you're trying to achieve, and you don't know what that is as the course of the game. When that happens, when you draw a hint card, you see, okay, these are the 3 things that I need to do, but you don't see ahead, so you don't know, oh well, man, if I would have had an aristocrat who had a title in that first round, if I would have paired those up, I would have been able to take care of the hint cards. That would have been kill 2 birds with 1 stone sort of thing. But I think that's really cool aspect, even though I'm kind of painting that as a negative. It really isn't, because that is, you keep striving. The game, you kind of have, I don't really want to say tension, but it comes down to either you're winning or losing the game based on how well you're going through your hint cards. And some things can kind of throw you for a loop. There's 1 hint card in there I know that has caused me to lose. I think every game I've lost, I've had that as a hint card in the 3rd generation. I just can never seem like I have enough turns left in order to fulfill it. But no, really enjoy this. Component wise, the game is really good. The action tokens here are nice wooden painted tokens, so those are nice. the card stock and the card art, is really good. And we'll get Megan's take on that when she gets around to playing this, which will be sometime in the future here. But like I said, this is a really good solo game. I think it's very meaty. You can see that it took, generally it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to play, which is, about what you want for a solo game. But there's a lot of things that you can do. There are a ton of friend cards. So, there's, I don't think your family's ever going to be the same. I did mention kind of early on where the family tree gets a little unbalanced. As you saw in this game, I pretty much stayed with my father's side of the family, and mother's side didn't get squat. That happens. I've really only have played a few games where it's been kind of balanced, and that really goes back to the hint cards, because there are some that say, on your mother's side or on your father's side. So depending on which one of those that you draw, that's going to determine kind of how your family tree gets filled out. The fact that you have 5 different ones for each generation and you're only drawing 3, it would be nice to see some more of that, some different ones. But that does give you a little bit of variety, and chances are you're probably going to play this more with more players, and that becomes a whole different dynamic. And we'll talk about that when Megan and I do our playthrough on that. But I really enjoy this game, and I think if you're looking for a solitaire game, that this will probably appeal to you. Like I said, there's a lot that's kind of that changes the game up. Having the hint cards, as if you think of them like objective cards, I think it makes the game really fun. So that'll do it for now, and we will catch you guys next time. Hey guys, Dad here. If you liked watching my solo playthrough of Legacy, the Testament of Duke to Crecy, come back in about a month and you can watch me play solo of the 5 Families expansion. Catch you guys next time.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.